Wyler Fickman McLean, welcome, WYLCONE.com. And we're going to be talking about the most important part of any structure when you're speaking grammatically, the verbs. We're going to be talking about verbs and how Spanish verbs are divided into tenses and moods. The tense is the time the action took place. We start with the present tense. Now, normally speaking, that's what's taught first. And normally speaking, it's not a lot of detail is not taught. It's just taught. You have regular verbs and you have irregular verbs. And in Spanish, you have the AR verbs, the IR, the ER verbs, the AR, and the IR verbs, the ER. IR, AR, ER. Okay. What I want to do is to tell you when to use each tense and each mood. Mood is the feeling that you have when you are expressing time. Now, you normally start with the indicative mood, where you're just stating something. You're just stating. You're not telling the listener how you feel about something. You're just stating something, and you're stating something about yourself or about someone else. There's another mood that's called the subjunctive, and it's an extremely important mood. It's a mood, it's not a tense. You don't use it that much in English. You do use it, but you don't recognize it. Where in Spanish, it's very recognizable. It's called the subjunctive, but we're getting ahead of our story. So basically what I'm going to do is just show you the cards and maybe make a comment here or there. Because the cards are self-explanatory. They tell you the present indicative, they tell you the uses. See what I'm talking about? Sometimes even my English fails me, the uses. And first you will see is what is the meaning of that tense. And some tenses, for example, the present indicative, have quite a number of meanings, how you use it, okay? And then I give examples. So here we're talking about one meaning of the present indicative, timeless or habitual events which are still part of the present. Como mucho hay 50 estados en los Estados Unidos. Okay. En las Américas se hablan inglés, francés, y español. Now, if you notice, I have in blue present indicative, and then I have in blue the verbs como, which is from the verb comer. This is from the verb haber, and hablan, this is from the verb hablar. Okay. By the way, is an irregular verb. That's why it looks strange. Como, comer is not, and hablar is not. And we're talking about timeless or habitual events, right? I eat a lot. That's something that you do every day. You're not talking about what you're doing now. You're talking about what you do every day. Here's another, talking about general truth. Now watch, I'm gonna try to pronounce this word correctly. I always stumble over this word. Not el, that's not a problem. The next word, el ejercicio hace maestro al novicio, right? And in Spanish it rhymes, and that basically that means practice makes perfect. Okay, that's a general truth. You practice something enough. I think Malcolm Gladwell said, I don't know how many hours, 10,000 hours of directed, intentional practice. And if you have the talent, you can become an expert in that. Se habla inglés en los Estados Unidos, right? English is spoken in the United States. Todos nosotros somos americanos. We are all Americans, whether you live in North America or South America or the Caribbean, we are all Americans. The present indicative, we're still talking about the present indicative for events occurring now in the present. That is not necessarily true in English. In Spanish, there is an overlap with the present progressive. So where in English, sometimes you would use the present progressive. In Spanish, you use still the present indicative. It's sometimes called the simple present. This is not true in English. For example, ¿qué haces? In English, you would say, what are you doing? ¿Qué haces? ¿Qué dices? In English, you would say, what are you saying or what's happening? So where in English, you would use the present progressive, an action that's happening at the moment, or an action that's happening for a very short period of time consistently. But in Spanish, you don't say ¿qué estás haciendo? Or ¿qué estás diciendo? You say ¿qué haces? ¿Qué dices? Once again, talking about the present indicative when it is, when in English you would use the present progressive. Escribo una novela. I'm writing a book. Okay? Now that doesn't mean at this moment you're sitting down writing the book. It just means this is something that you are doing in the present. But in English you would use the present progressive. Well, I guess you, unless you would say, all this semester, I'm working on a book that I'm writing. Okay, I'm writing a book. Okay, so, but you would have to let the listener know that you're talking during a particular period of time, a short period of time, you will be doing this action. In Spanish, no, escribo una novela. Boy, somebody says, Corella, come over here. And I say, boy, that means I'm coming. Well, in English, you say I'm coming. In Spanish, you use the verb ir. You do not use the verb venir. Okay, and boy is the present tense of the verb ir. Boy, vas, va, vamos, van. Okay, now when you want to say I'm leaving, bye, I'm leaving, you say me voy. Now you're using the same verb ir, but now you're using it in its pronominal or reflexive form. You say me voy, and me voy means ya me voy. That means I'm leaving. You also use the present indicative when it denotes the state of being. Estoy feliz. That's like in English, I'm happy. Hace muchísimo calor. It's very hot. Okay, you're talking about not an action, but state of being. I'm happy. It's very hot. Lleva un vestido bonito. She's wearing a pretty dress. Okay, where in English you would use the present progressive, in Spanish you do not. Okay, can denote an event which has just happened, and has just happened is the present perfect in English, or which would be in the simple past in English. So which would either be in the present perfect in English, or would be in the simple past in English, the pretérito. Acabo de hablar con mi amiga. I've just talked to my friend. Where in English you use the present perfect, you're using just, an action that just finished, the immediate past. In Spanish, you use the verb acabar, which means to finish. It's sort of idiomatic, and it means I've just talked to my friend. Acabo de hablar. I've just talked. Acabamos. Ooh, sometimes I get tongue twisted. Acabamos de comer. We've just eaten. Where in English you would use either you would use the present perfect with just, or sometimes in English, we don't even use the present perfect. We just use the past. I've just, oh no, let me see. I just ate. See, to me, that sounds so wrong. But you hear it a lot now. Or acabo de hablar. I just talked to my friend. I'm of that generation where you would still use the present perfect. But in Spanish, you don't have to worry about that. You just use the present tense of the verb acabar, acabar, acabar. You know, I can hear my accent. I don't like the way I pronounce that. Acabar, and it's acabo de hablar, acabamos de comer. We've just eaten. And in Spanish, let's say you say something to me, I don't know, what's the problem? And I didn't hear you, or I want to pretend I didn't hear you. In English, you would say, what did you say? Or I would say, what are you saying? What did you say? What are you saying? In Spanish, you just use the present tense. ¿Qué dices? ¿Qué dices? You just use the present tense, where in English, you would use either, what did you say? The pretérito or the simple past, or you use the progressive. What are you saying? I would say more I would say in English, what did you say? Okay. All right, I'm going to stop, and I'll come back with the present indicative when it's donating an event, which is about to happen, okay? Because I don't want this to be too long. So this is Corella Ficklin McLean. Welcome, WYLCONE.com. Okay, thank you for coming to my video. I hope it can be of some help, or that it has been of some help. And if it has, please subscribe. Please subscribe. Okay. So I will say goodbye. I'm going to stop sharing. And I want to thank you for coming to my video again. Thank you very much. Bye.